expecting to see from them, you know, with how they've been performing as of recent, but the most recent with that bleed again does tend you to maybe just be a little bit more hesitant with how they've been performing, but it's a good start overall.
A little more spry in their step. And like you mentioned, it is a fantastic start. 4 rounds have been pretty telling, right? Or rather, it has been pretty deceiving. We saw it in the previous map. FWE had a very convincing early swing. And Secret being Secret, it did come back from it. But this is the worst knife I've ever seen in my life. It is such an unholy creation. Please don't get it. Dubstep, he knows what's up. He's like, yeah, just don't bring that up in here. Marshall has found its value, but Jitboy with the custom Headhunter gets him and gets a bonus. But Borkum has already reduced the numbers to their favor. The classics and one Headhunter still being fielded by FWE. Borkum, he's I would say he's a little stuck here, so maybe support utility or maybe a quick jump would net him an easier escape. But look at that, Aserai. FWE already redirecting their efforts towards B.
Yeah, Borkum just not peeking belt anymore, knowing that the threat of the one-tapper Headhunter is actually real. Speaking of Headhunter, once again, Wits is actually out here, losing to the Battle to Majesty.
Spike down.
He can't really push any further as the smoke or the Viper wall dissipates. Jitboy is alone. 7 shots in the chamber. The agent and the weapon. And, well, his position is kind of free-flowing again. He is out in the middle.
Left.
Could get spotted, but this is still a really nice angle for him to deal some damage, if it ever. And since Wits is first contact, one body shot is going to be enough. But as you can see on the perspective of ours, Borkum was already on the flank, dispenses, and now we go to the buy round.
Wonder how this one's gonna go. The last few days we've had a pretty much mixed bag of results for this type of setup again. Typically go leading into our group stage, we would see the 2-1 scoreline more often than not, but the group stages have been a completely different beast. This time, going back to our teams, highlighting that Secret has been patching up the holes in their defense. I would say that they've found a good balance being aggressive and being creative here. FWE, though, they have a very, very real chance of taking this. Wits has been discovered. I would say that's a little too much of the Headhunter rounds. Already limited rounds to get rid of that owl drone. But it did get the job done. He's still here in yellow with absolute confidence. Who removed that drone? It was one of his teammates, so he does save an extra round for the Headhunter. But where's the rendezvous? Hasn't been set up. It's been removed from play. Shock dogs do come in, and he is down and completely out of the round as Jitboy not missing about Aserai. The spike still has not been committed to any of the places really, but Jesse Vash has a Vandal of his own. A classic hold with a classic skin from one of our more classic players. Secret, they look very, very impressive on this round.
Spencer really loves for that lurk, man. Turns into what? Sometimes it works for him, but people just try to expect it a whole lot more. Vash, yeah, that recon dart just made it so. Dubstep can try to pick up the weapon now as he puts himself into a 4 versus 1. Good fight onto Apena. Tries to go for the fight. What a shot onto Jitboy. Can't even TP out. No safety when Dubstep is on the case, on the prowl. But FWE, at least, able to pierce through the B site quite convincingly.
How do you feel about the Sage pick?
It doesn't make... I don't know. You know what? Because they do have the jet, it's still fine because they do have that explosive entry. And again, Sage does create a lot more options, I think, if you're going to try to play for a lot more contact.
That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, and I've always felt strongly about Sage picks because I feel like Sage is only really good when it comes to the early part of a map's lifespan. The older the map gets, the more we stray away from her. And I do feel like she does take up a very crucial spot. You could have an extra flash. You could have an extra smoke if you go for the double controller. but she's very niche, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes teams treat that res as a bit of a crutch. Again, like you said, it is very, very good on the contact, but what other value does the Sage get when she gets so much priority when it comes to the spike downs, the orb control? And again, that adds so many layers to the games and so many things to commit to.
I think specifically in Icebox, one of the things that Sage really does utilize well, if you know how to time it right, is probably the slow orb for the most part. Because again, if you're able to combo that as you're pushing in, right, it really doesn't allow players to get out of sticky situations. Hence maybe the weakness of Team Secret in that one. Even though you can argue that Wits and Dubstep can always just dash away, the thing is they're forced to do that because they couldn't really peak aggressive because, again, of the slow orb. So if FWE are playing along those lines, which I think they have been somewhat, at least in these, few couple of rounds, this actually is a really good metric that, even though, at least for us, we're not too fond of the Sage anymore on Icebox, it still does have its place for other rigs and other teams that deem it to be incredibly powerful. And honestly, it still is pretty good.
You want to play? Let's play.
Definitely we have a place for all our agents. But again, here we have Wits, the operator. It's not a very picky weapon. No matter what agent you hit, it's a death no matter what. And now we look at the more patient play here. We see quite a bit of utility being expended on the A side for Secret. They have that Viper Spit and the wall for just the double the insurance. We even have Dubstep here committing another operator. But Wits still very much the king of his domain here. Yellow, the long-range firing line for him. He really wants to capitalize on that. And that he does. He finds Kahlua. Is he going to reaggress? Maybe his defensive line is going to just readjust. He gets rid of the rendezvous, potentially to bait out FWE, to think that he's completely vacated it. It's a completely different story. Now he looks like he's backing out here as Jesse's going to have a support recon on the way. Tirapong doubtful of entering this Viper Spit for good reason.
I mean, they do have a Pinya, but
30 seconds left.
This Viper Spit isn't really easily countered by a Recon Dart because of the fact that there's just so many corners that I think the Recon Dart just doesn't effectively spot out. Anyways, that's really awkward. The Pinya's still here on the high ground, boosted up onto the wall. Tries to cross into the crosshair of Wits, but that's not going to happen. I love this double up from both FWE players, but this is going to force them back out. They're going to have to reposition. Tirapong very close, but Wits is hitting those shots, already vying for the ace. Drops right in. Not going to be possible. And Tirapong, always the magic player of FWE, but not this time. He don't got no magic hands. So gonna drop down, and seems like Team Secret will be able to still save both of their ops if they do want to, which they will.
A very worthy investment, and a complete opposite of what we saw in the previous map, right? Haven potentially going in the books as maybe fairly unremarkable as a match when it came to the operators, but this time the change of scenery and maybe the change in temperature has really helped steady the aim of our snipers. As FWE, they have a bit of a conundrum. I guess, like, again, when you have the Sage, yeah, sure, I don't have to fight for backside. Yeah, sure, we don't have to fight for orange as much. But we've seen many more innovative ways to do so, and more, I would say, updated schemes. But Wits may be pushing his luck a little bit too much there as Kahlua. He has a free upgrade. His eyes widen as he sees that operator. And now a new Vigor. Maybe potentially foaming at the mouth here. Like I said, when you have that Sage Wall, you don't really have to fight for orange anymore. They do get a fairly safe flank. A little bit of a corner that he's found himself in. Safety as Dubstep chops up Kahlua. Where did he come from? Jit Boys with the trade is too quick. Dispenser gets one. He waits out the res. Can't really get the kill. So it's still a 4v3. Jit Boys steady on that. Oh, but Jesse Vash! He is ice cold. The Patriarch. He gets one, but Dispenser falls. Borkum finds one through the wall. 2v2. But look at all this utility, Aserai. It's not really working out, or is it? Secret, they completely put the blinders on FWE and steal the round away.
Man, you were absolutely right there. Wits really tempting fate a lot more on B long. He's done it so many times that FWE were just expecting him to have some sort of iteration of just being at B long. And look at how they just popped the shot. Dispenser able to find the kills, but it's Jesse Vash in the end that has truly netted them this particular round alongside Borkum. Gotta love the just stability of this player, and now he's got himself the Hunter's Fury, against an FWE that will not have the best of buys. Mid, Kilua is gonna get spotted by the recon dart. This is actually gonna be a little bit risky. Decides to charge right in. Borkum is right there. They're just trying to drive by. Borkum hits the shot, forces back the rest of FWE here, and Dispenser comes in for the big flank on the big swing. We're down to Jit Boys. There is the man playing all the way through B. Wits right on top, hits the shot, and ends the round.
Another headhunter to close out the round, and Jit Boys, despite getting that pick, would not really hamper Secret here. Their economy has built up to be fairly impressive, although they are somewhat teetering with death here. Secret, once again, handily taking that eco round away, or the anti-eco for themselves. This is gonna be a completely equal round now. What ult economy do we have on the side of our Thai squad? We only have the Hunter's Fury. Jit Boys is ways away from that tour de force, which they would love to have. Lua and Tirapong, which have made quite a bit of noise in this map, don't have that extra layer to their game as of the moment. Here we are, the defense has been set. A commitment to be made potentially for FWE, as they're still in the dating phase. You know, hey, you're kind of interesting. You do look like the open book, but maybe you're just not my vibe. Can you lure me in? That poison cloud's definitely going to be a bit of a red flag here for FWE, but do they have rose-colored glasses on is the question.
Well, we'll see if... I was gonna maybe mention the lyrics. Anyways, it's a song that I don't want to sing because Tirapong is here to perform. That's the explosion they were hoping for. I think they just wanted to make sure the Dubstep didn't have the dash anymore. Jesse Vash double with the Hunter. Oh my god, Dubstep even comes in with a shot of his own. And through the fire and flames they go. They really get burnt off, and this double operator is still getting its mark. Jit Boys has already been spotted, and Dubstep not gonna miss a beat to get his teammates' efforts in line. My god, Jesse Vash, we need another replay of that ultimate usage of him. Always the one to make it Value Town.
Fighting hard, fighting on for the steal, but Secret, they look very well tempered. The Wasteland, maybe the frozen tundra known as Icebox, has not proven to be too friendly for FWE. They've been doing quite a bit, but it seems that their offense has stagnated, Asarai. I mean, I like that they stuck with their decision. Was it a good one? In hindsight, maybe not, right? Again, that poison orb, it started there. It's like, the Viper's here. But maybe let's force the issue. I feel like it could have been better if they had the KO. Like you mentioned, right? The Secret, they just seem that much more superfluous without anything really disrupting them. And Wits, again, he goes for this, potentially baiting out his teammate here. Dispenser happy to oblige and happy to provide the support, but Wits has to make a shot here. But that dart is gonna make him back out. Is he deterred? Has this persuaded him to leave? Dissuaded him? Perhaps not.
Wow!
Right here.
Oh. Dude, I don't know what kind of pants Wits is wearing, but he's got to have some pretty durable ones for how heavy his balls are.
Those are some fighting words, Asarai, but look at this Wits. Made out of steel in parts unknown. Asarai would love to focus on those, but Dispenser gets one with a quick shot onto Apina. Jit Boys responds. Not too happy about those comments. He's like, hey man, yeah, we see him trudging along with those bad boys, but we're still gonna resist. His Wits, he is very, very low. to the ground. Still, stability in hand and an operator to find maximum value.
And steely as can be. Yeah, that's gonna be a call on the tactical pause right there. My gosh. He is walking a fine line between giving up the site and defending it up to an utmost T. 7-1. And again, this is elimination series. The last that we'll be seeing for, I think at least today, because yesterday was full elimination day, and this is like the last one supposedly. If we had like another series for yesterday, everything on the line.
It has been, yeah, quite a few things on the line actually, and I'm not mistaken when I say that FWE, this is their APAC debut, right? This is a set of players that we haven't seen before, if my memory serves me correctly again.
Yeah.
And to make it this far is an achievement itself, right?
Yep, absolutely.
But I think it's a great wake-up call. Like when you play against these teams that are, again, absolutely dangerous. They have a lot of qualities that make them stand out. When you're good, and I say this in the most respectful way, being just good in APAC, you'll be relegated to being an unremarkable team because that's just how high the bar is.
Gotta say as well, though, FWE is a team that I actually didn't expect to see here because, again, since we haven't been laser focused on other regions, before APAC started once again, I was kind of expecting to see familiar faces from the Thai region, most notably again Sersha and Full Sense. But FWE is actually that one team that has beaten Full Sense quite convincingly. How does... Okay, it was through the tag anyways. Borkham is still here at first contact, and he hasn't been spotted out just yet. Wits and Dispenser making a damn good case. Tirapong gets enough to get himself that charge up. Trades right in, and as the smoke dissipates, Dubstep just denies. What a swing. FWE went for full contact. It looked like it could have worked, but Sniper's all about. Team Secret, it's working. The double sniper is such a threat in Icebox. I don't know how it's happening, but the shots are connecting.
Well, for those who are uninitiated and maybe too young to remember, majority of the players on Team Secret side are actually fabled oppers from a different tactical background. So every single person here is proficient and incredibly dangerous. As honestly, the tour de force is very, very similar in feel when it comes to the big green and Wits. I'm sure he is absolutely seething to use that. Still really pushing the tempo here. Truly not a pusillanimous gentleman, but it even bites him in the back as Killua with a Guardian seals his fate. Borkham finds Jit Boys on the other side of the world, but the front line, it's been pretty much pushed. So close to the spawn here. How did Borkham get here? Majesty's probably wondering, as his fellow Viper player has definitely one-upped him here. Now look at this, Asteroid. The spike is in such an awkward position that what can FWE do here? Especially with just Opinion Killua left. Jesse eliminates one of their problems. Killua, we know he can clutch, and we know he's capable of doing these things. He finds his first victim, but time is winding down, and that spike position has not moved a single inch. Dubstep potentially tempting fate. The ace clutch? No, Borkham says no, absolutely not. Get those dreams and those aspirations out of here.
Well, he tried to. He almost actually did, but he needed to get a step closer to fight Borkham as well as try to pick up the spike, and it was kind of awkward as well. You were absolutely right. Why is the spike outside there? How has Borkham gotten through here? It's probably because, again, Wits has gravitated so much of the attention of FWE on B long that they have to expend multiple players just to deal with him, which also allows a lot more cheekiness from the rest of Team Secret. You don't see it every single round because, again, FWE will adjust, but somehow, some way, they still find it. And the cherry on top is nice double shot dart. Not gonna hit anything though. Yeah, the cherry on top is that the spike was just dropped there at their own spawn. Ooh, that recon dart is going to give Wits a lot more to work with, but has to back away. As the FWE, excuse me, are looking hard on the contact. They try to peek in, only have the pistols in hand, and it seems like Team Secret are ready to go for the contest. All three remaining members of FWE now just marching their way through the A site. Do they have any form of good firepower to actually stop the rest of Team Secret's defense? As Borkham is already here, ready on the swing. Spike has been dropped. Jit Boys, always good on the Headhunter, but is it going to be enough? As Dubstep comes in to play and dance. And it seems like after that performance, it's going to be Team Secret once again, 10-1.
Round before the switch.
Wow. 10-1. A different tune that is being sung here, Asurai. Again, we talked about how Secret can end up overplaying, but when those do work, it is one of those moments where you just can't help but sigh. Again, to win big, you gotta fail big. Doesn't look like Secret are too keen on doing the former, as this form that they're showing right now is absolutely fantastic. Same, or rather a very similar defensive layout here, but with still pushing the tempo, pushing forward this time from Kitchen, looking to cook some fools on the side of FWE. But FWE still holding strong. It looks like they're still very, very much cohesive, especially even in a situation as dire as this one.
Can always rally back. It's not over till it's over. That's the thing. FWE, well, they've taken the slower pace at this. Borkham is trying to do the trick. To get that quick little info if somebody comes into his domain. Oh, I like that. That doesn't make any noise at all. That's kind of cheeky. I've never seen that before. There you go.
Cheeky
Next
indeed.
steps. Yes, next steps with the ropes, right?
I would say Viper is pretty cheeky.
Right here.
In more ways than one. But anyway, Astro, control yourself.
30
We're
seconds
on
left.
broadcast.
No, I had something in my throat, you know?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely in your throat. His Wits, still the man of the hour, tries to find a shot and actually tags in a Pina. Still, he has a pretty forward position onto the side. They go for a post plant that is leaning towards rather B main here, but oh no indeed, as two players have been detained. We've seen Secret steal away many rounds. Is this one of them? As FWE, they look far more impressive. Wits pushing that wall. What a flick onto Killua. Beautiful adjustment. Now pushes yellow. Nearly finds a second, but it's Dubstep. Actually on a massive flank. He gets 3 for himself. And Majesty tries to fend off the rest of Secret. They get swarmed.
Plenty of time to defuse that spike. And Swarm is the right context of that one.
Switching sides.
They really wanted to get things started for the post plan. They didn't get punished too heavily with the 2-player detain, but for sure the placement as well as the control of the site had to be forfeited somewhat, just so that they can let their players get access once again to their guns, which gave enough time, I think, for Team Secret to figure things out on how they wanted to approach that retake. And you saw just how cleanly they were able to get it, especially with Wits, just again, as he mentioned, hitting a lot of these shots. And he's doing the double tandem with Dubstep with the double ops. Look at that, 17 and 15. And we're going to go for that quick little halftime break, as now it's going to be Team Secret on the offense. This could actually work in the favor of FWE because, again, they do have the double Sentinel, but I don't know how far this is going to go, especially one wrong step and they're already looking at match point.
Just a few steps away from victory. Potentially is Secret. But Astray again. FWE, they do have quite a bit of a task at hand here. Maybe even more than a handful. The defense potentially could look a little better. Again, we'd like to talk about the double Sentinel, but Sage, does she really fall into that traditional Sentinel slot?
That's
perhaps
true. Yeah.
Perhaps not.
She's a momentary Sentinel. Because
Moment
none
to
of our
moment.
abilities last forever, technically, right?
Well, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Because like if you compare it to the other Sentinels, you can leave an alarm bot. If it's not destroyed, it'll be there for the whole round. Trademark as well, and tripwire as well. Can't say that for the slow orb. That's gonna be too OP.
Can you imagine if you get hit by a slow orb? Oh no, I'm stuck to shift walking for the rest of the map.
Forever
Oh.
slowed.
Yeah, again, I'm shift walking. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I feel like might be going off a little bit, maybe sidetracked, but if we had like just fun game modes that make the abilities ridiculous, that would be
Yeah.
honestly quite entertaining. Again, the slow orb that just forces you to shift walk everywhere.
It's just like Earth mode for League of Legends,
Yeah.
where all
if you
abilities
get-
are unlimited.
Yeah, if you get hit by paranoia or a flashbang, your monitor turns off. Like you can't turn it on. It's like, oh my goodness. But look, oh my goodness, I think they went shoulder to shoulder again. A dance of both Sentinels. But Wits needs only one step.
What?
Huh.
How did he know?
Maybe he's just anticipating the rotation because again, he did get that initial contact, but Apina gets the hand above Borkum, or rather the upper hand. Well, I don't know how those words came out of my mouth, but Apina, those bullets coming out that ghost, seems to be giving him the affirmation and the validation he needs. This dispenser here could potentially cut off a major rotation in the form of Majesty. Tries to play off contact of his Phantom 6 man here.
Player remaining.
But the shots, they favor FWE. Dubstep, lone man, will now be encapsulated by that blue orb. FWE, they rally.
Solid pistol fights for FWE here. Might not have gotten the best of map controls, but they won every single crucial fight that is necessary to take that round in their pockets. They'll take it. Team Secret, what's the play? Force buy or save for that next round? Looks like they're going to go for the save. The buy, though, for FWE. 3 people have bought rifles. This is going to get really spicy really fast. Very expensive. If
One enemy remaining.
Team Secret can take at least, I'd say 2 players. Even that would be really risky. Actually, no, 3 players would be the optimum here. There you go. Killua's already hitting the shot. Has revealed that they're not messing about. Going to be buying up into the more favored weapons in the 4-stack on A side. Is Dubstep ready for this? Well, looks like no. Dispenser and Bash to remain. They're going to be looking for the B site
enemy remaining.
as Jit Boys is the one to remain. Bash now just tries to get the orb, I believe. And Jit Boys hits a fantastic headshot. And FWE, they're starting to make a little bit of wave here. But it's still just a tad bit of wave compared to the tsunami that Team Secret has brought up to this first half of the series, or first half of the second game.
Indeed, a few seas have been sailed, but the rest of the ocean still very much blue and unexplored. Quite an effort that they have to make, possibly even Heraclean. A secret, they're just one swing away, man. Just one swing away from taking a clean map. This time, a very clean map. Again, innovation is something that Secret love to toy with. They love to really get as much growing pain out of the way. But this time they mean business. And business is good, as Borkum finds Apina. Yet another head has been split open here on the side of FWE. They look a little worried here. They do have a few Vandals in the hand of Jit Boys and Killua. But these Spectres, they have to maximize their range here as Tirapong does have a full belt of utility bar and 1 slow orb already being disposed. Secret, they're going for a much more measured approach here, trying to bait out a bit of utility. But that sound spot is going to cue the Viper to raise that wall. And Dubstep, they do understand that they have a minute left to play.
That and
Interesting
they actually
crossroad.
waited for the recon dart for Vash before they start pushing in, possibly. Good value, actually, as it spots out Killua at the back of the site. They can still wait it out just because they still have some time left. And again, technically they do have the weapon advantage, but they still cannot play too bait from this because, again, it's Killua and Tirapong who have been the terror of Team Secret. And speaking of which, It's now turned into the 2 versus 1. Vash is playing super close to Tirapong, and he actually catches him off. Is he going to hear the flank coming in through his opponent? But regardless of, Vash now actually has his Hunter's Fury. So regardless of which, Jit Boys, what was that? Actually jumps right back out. Recon Dart will be exposing him. Jesse Vash looking to wrap all the way around to the back. How quickly can you actually flick? Well, quickly enough, but Vash, he's got the quick footwork. This man is,
Match point.
well, dancing. He's the Vash Tango.
I feel like you've given Jesse Vash many nicknames. The Vash Tango, more recently, and maybe more well-known
Father Vash.
Daddy Vash. Yeah, I would honestly go for the words like, you know, patriarch, maybe add a little bit of sauce on that. But
One enemy remaining.
Asrai, we are
What is
in
this?
an elimination game.
He swapped
Again,
weapons. Oh my god.
the weapon heckling, a skill that's been fairly underrated. Getting shot in the face, an experience not meant to be enjoyed, as Killua once again trying to rouse his teammates, trying to get a strong point for his team to come back from. And losing dubstep, that might just blunt this offense just a little bit, but that whiff on Jit Boys is going to allow Secret to equalize the situation. If not even give them an upper hand. Finding Killua like that, the first offender will be the first to be punished, it seems, as the Viper's Pit readily available. A more proactive approach on the side of FWE as they close the gap. Wits is here. Majesty has found Jesse, so information gathering is going to be somewhat blind for them now. Do they know where the spike is? They haven't covered any of the rotation routes either. So Secret, they're going to have a pretty mundane walk to the site. All they really have on FWE is some presence towards orange. This pit has been completely occupied. A fortress, a bastion perhaps. This is looking far more perilous. This could be the end for FWE. And Majesty exposing himself like that, even getting tagged by the vulnerability on that alarm bot. Not a good look by Pina. He could potentially salvage this. The trades are here. Majesty gets one. Down to yet another 1v1. Is this her Secret Service? His Majesty's Secret Service? No, it's Wits with a tour de force. Absolutely annihilating FWE. And yet again, we bid adieu to another team, Asrai.
We talked about the sauce, man. There's some special sauce that Wit slathered right on top of that dish that he was just